Morning. I'd like to call to order the New York City Transit Committee. Let's get started with our safety announcements.
Your safety is of the foremost importance to the MTA. Therefore, we ask that you listen and adhere to the following instructions. If you witness an emergency, notify emergency personnel in the room and call 911 immediately. Please follow any audible instructions provided through the public address system or visually on screens in the event of an emergency. If an alarm sounds, wait for a public address announcement and follow instructions. If told to go to another floor or to evacuate the building, leave all unessential items behind and use stairwell A just across the main hallway or stairwell B down the hallway past the elevators. If you have a mobility disability or cannot self-evacuate, please proceed to stairwell D or E for assistance by MTA staff or emergency personnel. An automated external defibrillator, AED, for use by trained personnel is in the main hallway just past the elevators. If you need assistance during an evacuation, please tell an MTA staff member or emergency personnel. Thank you and have a safe day.
Thanks. Let's move on to our public speakers.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Today we hear from public speakers both remotely and in person. We have 13 members of the public registered to speak today. As a reminder, we ask that all public speakers adhere to the MTA's rules of conduct and decorum. And I would also like to remind our public speakers that in the interest of time and fairness to all, we limit everyone to 2 minutes. Please be aware that there will be a warning beep to remind you that you have 30 seconds to conclude your remarks. Our first speaker today will be Jack Nierenberg, followed by Yolanda Alain.
Good morning. I'm Jack Nierenberg. I'm the Vice President of Passengers United. And I want to bring up a few concerns. One of them is the ongoing CBTC issues on Queens Boulevard and on the Flushing line, the 7 line. And furthermore, the Queens Boulevard line is seriously unreliable at night. For many, it takes over an hour to get from the city to Queens on the Queens Boulevard line. Therefore, there is a parallel bus route, the Q60, which not only should be expanded so we actually have a reliable bus alternative on Queens Boulevard, but also articulated to accommodate Queens Boulevard passengers, especially when the Queens Boulevard line is not reliable. And speaking of buses, there are serious concerns about open streets. Not only has it proven to be disastrous for the ADA community, but it also has impacted essential busways in all of the boroughs, including Manhattan. And I've seen this because buses have been detoured because of the open streets. So that's another ADA violation by the DOT, because what's going to happen to these people who need this bus service and need their bus stop to get around, only to have to go to another stop that's not even a bus stop and struggle getting on their essential transportation. So that needs to be addressed probably immediately. And finally, I want to bring up the again, with buses, there need to be night owl bus routes that are free to accommodate passengers who really need to use public transportation. Everyone's wanting congestion pricing, which is already unsustainable, but it's especially unsustainable if we don't have alternative transportation options, and those are essential. Thank you.
Thank you for your remarks. Our next speaker is Yolanda Alain, followed by Jesse Figueroa over Zoom.
Good morning. I'm here to speak about Stressor Ride. I'll give you a horror story that happened on May 14th. There were 2 women at church. The driver came to pick them up. He picked up the wrong passenger and took off with that wrong passenger. When he realized it was the wrong passenger, he returned and dropped the passenger off, and the church was being closed up, and She had no way of getting back home, but a member was still there to take her home. The other passenger couldn't get home because the driver said, "You are not this passenger. I can't take you." So she had to get a family member to come and pick her up. Where is the accountability for Stress a Ride? Every month we have been complaining, and it is not a day. It's been years. If this was happening on New York City subway, trust and believe there will be some accountability. Trust and believe if it was on the bus, there would be accountability. Why can't Stress a Ride get their life and act together? Every time I come here, I hear y'all talk about contracts, and the contracts are always with provision and things and the accountability. When is Stress a Ride going to become accountable for the service that they're giving to people? People don't take Stress a Ride just because they want to. They take a ride because they need it. It's a service that is needed. It's not for beautification, but please. And most people will not complain, especially seniors don't complain because they don't feel if they complain, they'll lose the service. Enough is enough. Every month for more than a year, folks have been coming here complaining about Stress a Ride, and there's no improvement. It gets worse. But you see all the accolade and everyone talking about how great a service it is. Who are they speaking to? They're not speaking to the person that used the system. Enough is enough. I'm tired of it.
Thank you for your remarks. Our next speaker will be Jesse Figueroa, followed by David Kupferberg.
Morning, everybody. How y'all doing today? I'm not going to speak very much. Despite the tragedies that happened last Wednesday on the Staten Island Railway surfing incident in Eltingville, I was very disappointed to see that there was graphic video of that blood-soaked and body part-ridden R44 subway railway car. I took the liberty of emailing that video to Miranda Grant to have that posting taken down from the original source that I sent to her. So I got so heartbroken, I wound up in the VA hospital for a few hours. So, but I'm okay now. So, and another thing, there's still garbage on some buses, and it's going out of control. And we need to bring back no smoking, no drinking, no, especially no vaping, no alcohol, no spitting, no loud music playing, all that stuff. That's all I got for now. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Thank you, guys and gals.
Thank you for your remarks. Our next speaker will be David Kupferberg, followed by Michael Ring.
Should not serve Bushwick as proposed by the MTA in the Brooklyn Bus Network redesign draft plan, but continue to operate the JFK Airport. Based on the redesign's existing conditions report, there are a significant amount of people who live in Bed-Stuy and work at JFK Airport. They depend on the existing B-15 because it serves their needs. The creation of the B-55 would be a boon for Central Brooklyn. Besides, if the MTA could afford to have two bus routes serve JFK Airport from Queens, the MTA could afford to have the existing B-15 and the proposed B-55 serve JFK Airport from Brooklyn. A bus stop should be added at Cross Bay Boulevard in both directions to facilitate transferring. I think that the MTA should change the proposed B-27 to have it operate via the Manhattan Bridge to Lower Manhattan. The B-62, though circuitous, should continue to serve Vinegar Hill all times. The B-67 should be extended part-time from its existing part-time terminal to Williamsburg Bridge Plaza. Before it was discontinued in June 2010, the B-71, which operated via Eastern Parkway and Union Street, was a growing service. Ridership increased 29% in 5 years, yet it was discontinued despite overwhelming community opposition. I wish for this route to be restored, but I prefer its western terminal to be the Brooklyn Cruise Terminal, a known transit desert. Also, to facilitate transferring, the B-103 should have stops added at Union Street. If the MTA could spend money on customer service centers, it could spend money on keeping the B-15 as is, implementing the proposed B-55, having the proposed B-27 serve Lower Manhattan, B-67 serving Williamsburg Bridge Plaza, and restoring the B-71. Thank you.
Thank you for your remarks. Our next speaker will be Michael Ring, followed by Charlton D'Souza.
Hiya, my name is Michael Ring. A brief visual description would say I'm a middle-aged white guy. I'm wearing a green hat that says Disabled in Action, the organization I'm representing today, and I'm wearing a t-shirt that says the Brooklyn Half Marathon, the race I won on Saturday. Thank you. I'd like to talk about Accessoride. I'm an Accessoride user. Most of the Accessoride trips are being outsourced to taxi and limousine commission vehicles, which is really wonderful because the big vans that come around, those guys are given a piece of paper in the morning and they just have to follow around this list of places to go, and if they get delayed, they get delayed. But in the TLC vehicles, they're being hailed in real time, but there's an enormous disconnect between the training the TLC drivers get and the training the Accessoride drivers get. Often the drivers picking us up don't know even that they're picking up an Accessoride passenger. They don't know the person has a disability. If it says Uber Health on my app, to them it just says corporate ride. They just think they're going to get someone who's probably not going to tip them. They don't know to call out because I might be blind or I might need help getting in and out of the car. They also don't know that they're going to get reimbursed for the toll. Many of the drivers, somewhere, I call you guys up and you're saying, oh, they're getting reimbursed for the toll. But the drivers don't know that. Someone in the middle might be keeping the money, or they don't know that they're getting the money. So they're taking an extra long route. It's very unsustainable. It's wasting everyone's time, and it's wasting it's wasting a lot of money. So there needs to be better training of these TLC guys because they're not as trained as well as the guys that are driving your vehicles. Also, in my 10 seconds, recently I noticed a change in the rules that people are bringing pets on the subway. Guide dogs are great, but pets are trip hazards. I don't know when that started, but it's not good. Thank you.
Thank you for your remarks. Our next speaker will be Charlton D'Souza, followed by Lisa Daglian.
Good morning, everyone. Charlton D'Souza, President of Passengers United. I am just heartbroken about what happened to Jordan Neely on the subway. And our subway system is in crisis. It's not safe. It's very sad when, when passengers don't have police and matters have to be taken, by the passengers to handle and diffuse the situation. And very, very sad. And, we still don't know these nonprofits that have been hired by the MTA in the city. Where are these SOS outreach workers in the subway? At every MTA board meeting, there's never been a report or a meeting with the Bowery Residents Committee or the Department of Homeless Services as to what is happening in the subway system with homeless outreach. Hasn't happened yet, and that's a shame, guys. And I hold the MTA board and the chairman responsible, and I hope that Jordan Neely's family sues the MTA. And I also hope that Daniel Perry sues the MTA and sues the city because you guys failed with subway safety. Now, as far as the report on fare evasion, Passengers United was never invited to be a part of that. However, we saw another organization's name plastered all over the report, and they're not even at today's committee meeting, and they didn't even attend last month's board meeting. And they haven't even attended board meetings in the past. But again, they're put in the report. This is the favoritism and nepotism going on at the MTA, and I think it's ridiculous. You have good experts who come every month to speak. Why not use us? But again, we were sidelined, and I don't appreciate that. And I do want to say that the free bus routes should be night owl bus routes in each borough overnight, because that would be perfect. It'll provide a free option for people to travel instead of taking Uber and Lyft. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your remarks. Our next speaker will be Lisa Daglian, followed by Yuki Endo.
Hi, good morning. I'm Lisa Daglian, Executive Director of the Permanent Citizens Advisory Committee to the MTA, or PCAC. In the book, I'd like to echo your thanks to Will Schwartz, Kate Contino, and Megan Molino for bringing home so much in this budget, including funding for more subway service, ABLE, the pilot for 5 free bus signs, and recurring and sustainable funding for the entire system. Kudos to the whole team and to MTA leadership and also our colleagues in advocacy who accomplished so much for riders. The biggest thanks goes to Governor Hochul and our elected leaders for making our dream a reality. Why this year, finally? It could have to do with trust. The laser focus on the North Star of customer satisfaction is making a difference. As ABLE is implemented across the bus system, and as we see resulting faster buses, we'll see more people taking them, the workhorse of the transit system. Buses will be particularly important due to the incredible number of upcoming weekend GOs. While they're inconvenient while they're underway, as they sure are, in the long run, riders will benefit from more service, updated signals leading to faster speeds, and station improvements. Thanks to Jose LaSalle and his team for helping us navigate weekend Michigas, to Frank Anacaro and the bus team for all they're doing, including working with City DOT and government relations to spur more bus lanes, help buses move faster than chickens, to Demetrius Critchlow and team for continuing to improve the ridership experience, to Judy and team for ops planning and management. I'd also like to thank David Solomon and his team for the renovations. They make a difference in our underground environment. Obviously, things aren't all rosy, and we were very saddened by the recent tragedy on the F train. That should never have escalated to the level it did. It highlights the need for better support, resources, and response services. We've come a long way since COPS cameras and CARES was introduced, but greater needs still exist. Safety underground is on the rise, as are ridership levels. There is more good news than bad. It's a real accomplishment compared to just a year ago. Hard work has paid off, and riders benefit. Thank you.
Thank you for your remarks. Our next speaker will be Yuki Endo, followed by Alida Dupree.
Good morning. My name is Yuki Endo, and I'm with Passengers United. For MetroCard vending machine, there has been lots of out of service at 7th Station at Junction Boulevard and 90th Street, as well as Rosa Park Hempstead Transit Center at Nice Bus. Please leave B2, B4, B15, B17, B35, B38 Limited, B44 SBS, B46, B49, B68, Q5, Q12, Q17, Q22, Q24, Q25, Q34, Q65, Q27, Q30, 31, Q35, Q41, Q46, Q48, Q53, SBS, Q66, Q72, Q100 to Q103, Q110 to Q114, all express buses alone for bus network redesign. I agree with B57 extension of Jackson Heights, but Red Hook Brooklyn Heights service need to be kept. It would help go to IKEA. Q50 off-peak service and BX29 need to restore to Co-op City. I would like to see $6.75 X80 bus to Vegandale Festival on September 16th to the 23rd, 2023. On September 16, 2023, because M35 bus gets overcrowded and people often make long line, and some vendors, firefighters are late to work. I would love to see free fare bus service on all NYC buses and Nassau County Nice Bus, because Westchester County Beeline Bus free fare service and Connecticut free fare statewide was awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for your remarks. Our next speaker will be Alida Dupree, followed by Jean Ryan.
Good morning. Thank you to the chair, Alida Dupree, for the record, she and her. I'm going to talk about transit today, mostly about the subway. Subway is very important to me. And we have to continue working very hard on ADA to do more than the contract calls for, because I strive for full participation on the system. And when I'm having a bad day, I'm remembering those who can't navigate stairs or escalators. And so that's always going to be close to me. And renewable energy on our subway. I think it's very important for us to work toward that because we're still producing emissions, and other systems are making great progress in electrically powered rail systems that use clean electricity. So we need to work on that too. But I'm going to reframe a bit. Um, I keep saying I hope to be in New York soon, and a 2,000-mile trip is quite daunting to me right now, but I think it's getting closer. But one of the reasons why I want to come to New York and I'm homesick for New York, it's not just about seeing family, but it's about the subway, to be able to use it, enjoy it. And I ask that we focus on what the subway is all about. Someone in a board meeting, it was one of your board members, said something like this, that the New York City subway is the greatest transportation system the world has ever seen. I'm in full agreement with that. So how can we hold to values that are legendary and stately and remember the importance of tradition and history? I hope to be back on the system soon. Thank you.
Thank you for your remarks. Our next speaker will be Jean Ryan, followed by Jason Anthony.
Hi, I'm Jean Ryan. I'm president of Disabled in Action, DIA for short. Thank you so much for changing the emergency and setting up the emergency evacuation announcement for being up here, because we are on the 20th floor, and if there's an accident or an emergency, we all want to know how we can get out of here. But also on the subject of safety, I'd like to talk about safety on Access Ride when we try to communicate with drivers who do not speak English. They cannot understand us, we cannot understand them, and it's a safety issue. DIA has immigrant members. We have members who are first in their family to be born here. We have people from all different walks of life in our organization. So it's not an issue of discrimination, it's an issue of safety. So if we need to be let off on the corner because we're a wheelchair user, or if we're blind and we need to be let off right in front of our building and we don't know where we're going to be let off, literally, we can't communicate with the driver. Also, we need to be secured, and when I mime when I tell the drivers what I need. They're supposed to be trained that they're supposed to already secure my chair and me. It's the law to have a safety belt in New York State, but we can't do it ourselves. If I'm just sitting in one of the regular seats, yeah, I could do it myself, but I can't hook my own wheelchair up or hook up myself from the ceiling all the way down to the floor and back of me. It's impossible. So we need better training, we need better rules for accessorized vehicles, any kind of accessorized vehicles.
Please
that
conclude your
Access
remarks.
Ride's contracting with, you need to insist that the drivers speak some English. Thank you.
Thank you for your remarks. Our next speaker will be Jason Anthony, followed by Andy Pollack.
Good morning, Rich. Good morning, Haida, and good morning to the rest of the Transit Committee. Let's talk about the recent incident that plagued our subway system. The 12/9 occurred at Entonville train station demonstrates once again that we need police presence everywhere. And I wonder, where is the NYPD Commissioner, Kishan Sewell? Where is she? Why is she not here responding to this and other incidents that have been occurring in our beloved subway system? Instead, we have Chief Kemper and his subordinates here. But we need to hold the NYPD accountable regarding lack thereof their presence in the subway station system, especially in my home station, Atlantic Avenue Barclays Center, along the 4th Avenue line, that we address every single time about Transit District 32 not being there at the platform level. Instead, they are at the mezzanine level, distracted on their phones. This is why we had the tragic death of Jordan Neely. And this is why we had the tragic death of a 15-year-old doing subway surfing. It is time that the commissioner comes to us and responds to our questions and the questions of every single board member, because if not, I will initiate once again demanding that her and Chief Kemper resign, because this not can be tolerated anymore, because every time I go to school, I have to look at the elevated tracks along the Flushing line. So that's all I have to say for this month. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your remarks. Our next speaker will be Andy Pollack, followed by our final speaker today, Pascal Pierre-Paul.
Since I got double-crossed this morning with assumed technical glitch at the Long Island Railroad, I need 4 minutes to speak today. So first, I'm going to talk about New York City Transit. First issue at hand. Last Wednesday, this was on May 10th. Well, my bad, May 17th. 231 had operator availability issues. And the problem was the buses were overcrowded. So again, I keep saying we need to keep hiring more drivers, because guess what? A lot of the College Point routes this morning, including the ones that serve Oslam Hall, the Q13 and the Q28, were delayed this morning because of operator availability. Okay, next matter at hand, track fires. There were a lot of them last week. That needs to be investigated immediately, because I don't know what happened. It was a disaster last week. And the last thing I want to mention, the Metro car machines at Jamaica 179th Street yesterday, there was only one machine that was taking cash for Metro card, and there were no receipts being printed out. So hopefully that can be done. Now I'm going to speak about the Long Island Railroad. So here we go. I'm going to be very brief here. Number one, please readjust the Penn Station schedules for Madison Square Garden, because we have a Madonna concert coming up in July, and the last thing you want to do is upset those fans. And also, before I wrap up my remarks, the diesels on the Long Island Railroad, they need to be replaced, because they are 25-year-old locomotives that desperately need to be replaced. They've gone past their prime, guys. There needs to be a solution to figure out how new train equipment can be ordered. Maybe bring in some cars from New Jersey if you guys have to. So I know I've gone over my time. Please fix the Zoom issues, because this morning I had a problem. I was on my computer and I had to transfer to my phone.
Please
because
conclude
I'm at work
your
right
remarks.
Now. So yes, that's all I have to say for now. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your remarks. And our final speaker will be Pascal Pierre-Paul.
Good morning. It's my first time here, but my name is Pascal Pierre-Paul. I am co-partner of Innovative Hustle. My business partner is Hervé Pierre. We are a small strategic consulting company, which just got DBE certified with MTA. But anywho, we've made some observations, and I'm also a manager of HR operations for a charter school network. And we've made a few observations, and they're that although that we're saying customer service is going up, we haven't seen any paper or any records showing employee retention and employee morale. And what we're seeing with a small survey that we took with just a few folks that we know that work for MTA, most of them are out on leave. Most of them are afraid because of this new shift of getting 2,200 folks out of the booths and in public and in front of other folks and, meeting people. With the safety concerns that there are now, things are not safe for them. A lot of people are concerned about that. They're anxious. So I'm wondering if we're taking a look and into consideration the employees and how they're feeling with this brand new shift. And how are you guys planning to take care of that? They're going to need way more training than just saying, hello, how are you this morning? This is not a bank. And although people are helpful and they're nice, they're worried that this dramatic and drastic shift is not somewhere and they want to work any longer. So just from a small survey of 15 people that my business partner and I surveyed, you guys are not looking good in the sense of retaining your employees as far as this shift is concerned. Thank you, and hope we partner soon. Bye.
Thank you for your remarks. That concludes the public comment session.
Thank you to all our speakers. I'll now make a motion to approve the minutes from the April 2023 meeting. Motion, second? All those in favor? Against? Aye, motion carries. Okay. Rich, any changes to the work plan?
There's one change this month. The first quarter transit bus EO reports will be presented in June rather than this month.
Okay, thank you. Can I make a motion to approve the 2023 work plan, please? Motion, second? Second, all those in favor? Okay, Rich is going to start with the president's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So May marked my one-year anniversary as president of New York City Transit. The last year, I knew that the key to bringing back riders to our buses, subways, and paratransit was to have the customer experience be our North Star. Everything we do at New York City Transit is driven by this core principle. This includes our faster, cleaner, safer plan to win back customers by improving the quality, safety, and reliability of our service. Our goals were ambitious: to increase customer satisfaction to record highs by at least 70% across the three modes by mid-2024. After 12 months, I'm here to report that thanks to the remarkable work of the 47,000 men and women who work at New York City Transit, the best team in the business, we've made considerable progress toward these goals. And I'm also delighted that several of my colleagues from Transit have joined us today to be specifically recognized for their great work. I'll point them out as we go through. On our subways, we've taken great steps to transform the customer experience through our new customer service centers and reimagining our station agents coming out of the booth, and strap hangers are taking notice. Customer satisfaction has risen in subways from an initial 48% in the spring of 2022 to 62% in April. This achievement is made possible by employees who lead and touch our customers each and every day with excellent service. Managers and supervisors continuously work with our agents to make sure that they're safe in their new roles, and also providing outstanding optimal service with their 5-day training. Today, representing those efforts achieving measurable results, are Group Station Manager Jermaine Jackson. Jermaine, where are you? So wave, thank you. And Group Station Renuka Baptiste. So thank you both. In addition to the teams directly providing customer service, there are many behind-the-scenes individuals working every day, such as Miriam Stanley, and Ken Lau, who have been closely involved. Yeah, exactly. Who have been excellent. Who have been closely involved in the design and construction of our new customer service centers. Thank you, Miriam and Ken. The revenue control team, led by Mike Alinas back there, as always, a man behind the scenes, deep behind the scenes, along with the Department of Subways EMD, to continue to test our new Omni machines. I know there were a couple of comments about our current Metro card machines that are 30-plus years old. We want to retire those babies as soon as we can. And thanks to Mike and the EMD team, we are actively testing the Omni machines. The board and this committee saw one here last month as a prototype. We hope to get those out as quickly as we can later this year. Installation will build on the success of our Omni Open Loop for reduced fare customers, which was launched in late 2022. Reduced fare customers can now upgrade to Omni via our Stone Street office here, mobile vans, and the customer service centers that we have, as well as a chatbot online. Today, over 25,000 reduced fare customers have been upgraded to Omni. Mobile sales visited 1,200 sites in the last 12 months and provided customer outreach in remote areas and served over 50,000 customers as well. Last month, I also mentioned we were distributing over 2,000 cell phones to station agents to not only provide them with safety, a device if they needed to recall for help, but also to unlock opportunities to serve our customers better. I spoke to a station agent just last week who said he used his Google Translate app on his device to help customers who did not speak English get around our system. That is the effort that's going on. The original distribution timeline for these cell phones, as you heard me say, was 1 to 2 years. Understanding the need to empower frontline employees with the tools they need to perform their jobs, Department of Subways Operation Manager Sam Wong, Sam, take a bow, and the team engineered a process to deliver 97% of these phones in the last 3 weeks. Just an extraordinary commitment to improving our employee experience. In the past year, the Subways teams have stepped up and made the system faster. We've seen on-time record performances that we haven't reached in over a decade. In particular, I want to call out the Maintenance of Way team, identified the Culver line as one of the last reliable in the systems and badly in need of track replacement. Under the leadership of Chief Officer Frank Farrell, Frank, take a bow, and Assistant Chief Mike Lubansky, Mike, take a bow. Those guys and the team found a way to double productivity by adding just 1 hour of weekday track closures. This accelerated the track program, replacement program, being more reliable to deliver faster service for our customers. We've also doubled down on cleanliness in subways, too. Between car and station cleaners, we are rebuilding our cleaning workforce with nearly 1,000 new hires. Over 40 restrooms have been opened since the pandemic, all of them sparkling clean. I want to thank Assistant Chief Officer, Lou Lanfear. Lou, stand please. And General Superintendent Mike Moore. They have kept up the momentum on our station renovations. We did Mott Ave and the Rockaways this weekend. We're using those planned weekend shutdowns to provide customers with tangible improvements in our stations. 29 have been completed so far. We are on pace to complete over 50 by the end of the year. We've also made progress on subway safety, too, for which I want to thank Governor Hochul and Mayor Adams for stepping up with the cops, cameras, and care plan. In the past several months, we have seen the rates of crime per rider in our system drop to some of the lowest in years. The security team and the camera team continues to respond and download crucial video for NYPD regarding crime, vandalism, graffiti, and overall well-being of both our employees and our customers. The Unarmed Guard program continues to deploy with success at 26 stations with a total of 340 guards to protect the emergency gates and improve fare evasion, as well as being an asset to provide information to our customers and our employees. I do want to acknowledge the terrific partnership we have with Chief Kemper, represented here by Deputy Chief Grandstaff, and the entire NYPD team, especially the transit cops, making a huge difference in our system, and to the MTA police who have been supporting us as well. I want to tell you, I had a chance at the Chief's invitation a couple weeks ago to visit NYPD's CompStat, which they focused on transit crime. And I can tell you, having spent the 3 hours of back and forth, a little sweat, a little grilling by the command staff, that the NYPD transit team, for the record, Deputy Chief was smiling when I said the grilling, but the team is doing a terrific job digging into what's happening and how they can deploy their forces and otherwise reduce crime across our system. So again, enormously grateful for the work that NYPD is doing. On Subway, I want to give a shout out to Senior Vice President Demetrius Critchlow, who is on his 25th wedding anniversary trip, so leave him alone this week, everyone, please. And his team for 2 major milestones just this past month. Subway ridership is continuing to rise as New York enters the spring. In the past month, we've exceeded 4 million paid Subway rides 4 times, including back-to-back days on May 10th and 11th. And on weekends, the team's exhaustive work to make service better and more reliable is paying dividends. Our weekend on-time performance has steadily improved since we appointed our weekend czar last September, from mid 70% on time to consistently exceeding 85% on time. Customers are responding to the better service by coming back on the weekends in droves. May 6th and 7th saw 4.6 million riders, the most in a weekend since the pandemic. So thanks to Jose LaSalle, our acting deputy chief. Now we've made him permanent as of today, Bill, correct? For him and his team for all that they're doing to improve weekend service as well. And I think, as you know, again, thanks to the hard work of our governor, working with the legislature, the budget was a big win, and New York City Transit stood very much to benefit from that. And so we're delighted to be increasing service starting this July. We'll be increasing weekend service on the G, J, and M lines, again, thanks to the governor's leadership and the legislature. We very much appreciate their faith in providing us the tools to get the job done. On buses, you heard last month from Frank Anacaro and his team about their laser-focused plan to improve the 29 priority routes, those that are frankly underperforming by our standards. By improving the speed, safety, reliability of bus service on select high ridership, poor performing routes, we are moving the needle for those customers. I'm pleased to say that over 50% of the routes in this initiative have already seen an improvement in customer journey time and ridership. As from some examples, customer journey time performance in the Q66 improved by 3.5% over the last month, and the B41, both local and limited, increased by almost 3 and over 6% respectively. I want to thank the road operations team in particular, the unsung heroes who are out there looking at service block by block where we can improve. Today, we're joined by Service Line Dispatcher Tyrone Lampkin. Tyrone, please take a bow. Tyrone had a lot of ideas for me on the M42 when we met a couple weeks ago, and I appreciate his work. He's been with us for 18 years, and not only the M42, but monitors our performance in Manhattan and throughout the system. He does go above and beyond, and I appreciate all of his hard work, again, representative of the good work that's happening. And we know that 69% of our customers, again, last month told us that they were satisfied or very satisfied with our bus service, thanks to folks like Tyrone. We're moving in the right direction. I also want to mention and recognize that with our 1.4 million bus customers and rising, I want to recognize and thank bus operator Cleveland October. Cleveland, please stand, sir. 22 years of service and has not only an exceptional safety record, but an exemplary attendance record. He was selected as one of this year's honorees for our Safe Bus Operator Award, which began rolling out last month. In addition to his normal duties and responsibilities, he's a route steward in East New York and helps mentor our new bus operators, of whom we have a lot, don't we? So we really appreciate you helping our new employees along. Again, thank you. And I was proud to report in February on the improvements in bus performance we have seen in the Bronx following last June's implementation of the Bronx local bus network redesign. Our borough bus network redesigns aim to improve the speed, frequency, and connections on local bus, as we have talked about, and the early results from the Bronx show that they did just that. We continue to look forward to bringing enhanced bus networks to our customers in Queens, and Brooklyn very soon. We have outreach planned for the past 6 months, and we'll have another 18 virtual workshops in Brooklyn in particular, and a round of in-person events coming up as well. So the more we can get customer feedback to make sure that we are initiating those designs that are helpful to our customers, it's critically important. To make our buses cleaner more than ever, we have increased the frequency of our system-wide cleaning cycle and implemented a successful one-time deep cleaning pilot at Kingsbridge Depot that we are expanding across the system to get our buses back looking clean. We are achieving that cleanliness goal with the contributions of a number of folks, but including transportation cleaners like David Crespo. David, are you there? Yes, sir. Take a bow. He has been part of our Deep Clean initiative and is well known by the team for his dedication to the job and enthusiasm for ensuring a clean work environment. Thank you very much. We've also made progress on bus accessibility. The Open Stroller Pilot Program, which was successfully launched in September, will soon expand, involve roughly 1,000 buses on 50 routes by the end of this year. And we're testing new hearing loops on buses to make service information more accessible to our customers with hearing impairments. Over the past year, we've also emphasized repeatedly how important bus lane enforcement is. The ABLE camera program is a double win for our bus customers. Not only do they succeed in speeding up buses by an additional 5% and more in priority quarters, but they also reduce collisions, making our routes safer. And our leaders in Albany deserve huge credit for allowing ABLE to start ticketing throughout the city in bus stops and double parked cars starting later this year. The expanded enforcement is a big win for our bus customers and will make our service faster and safer. Paratransit continues to reach record highs as well, with a 78% customer satisfaction in April. This is an incredible number that already exceeds our North Star goal, and one that Chris and his team should be proud of. I'm proud of them. Paratransit also has the distinction of being the first department at New York City Transit to return to and exceed pre-pandemic ridership levels, with peak weekdays now reaching over 31,000 trips, showing that our customers are coming back to improved service. On the reservations front, more and more Paratransit customers have been taking advantage of the opportunity to book online and save time. Online bookings have increased from 5% to almost 9% this year, and we expect that trend to continue to grow. Service quality, of course, is a critical factor that drives Paratransit service customers. And over the past year, on-time performance has risen above our goal for 94%, while provider no-shows and primary carrier service has been below 0.1% since November. We are excited to be renewing our fleet, so we may continue to grow and give our customers a safe and comfortable ride. Over 340 new primary carrier vehicles are expected to be delivered this year, and we will be piloting an additional 15 electric vehicles in the first quarter of next year. We aren't resting on our laurels, though. As we heard earlier today, we need to be focused on those 22% of customers who are not satisfied in April. Specific focus is on reducing broker no-shows while continuing to seek improvements on pickup times across the board. We're also taking initiatives to further boost capacity so we reduce our on-time performance window, how we measure ourselves, from 30 minutes to 20 minutes later this fall. And lastly, the Long Island City team is actively working to bring on a new dispatch and scheduling platform as soon as possible. This new platform is expected to boost on-time performance, especially for appointment times, and reduce shared ride travel times, as was raised earlier, both of which we know cause significant dissatisfaction of our customers. Let me just in closing say I've had the fortunate opportunity in the transportation field to lead some terrific organizations in the last 20 years of my career. But the last 12 months have been the most rewarding and meaningful, and I cannot thank the 47,000 employees at New York City Transit and the millions of our customers enough for welcoming me back to the city and this system with open arms and a few opinions, no doubt. But also this board, this committee, my chair, for all of your support over these last 12 months. I'm excited about where we have come. I am excited about where we will go, and I'm excited to do it with this team. That's all I have.
Great. Any questions for Rich Midori?
Hi, Rich. Thank you so much for your report. It's wonderful to see a lot of our staff here. Obviously not a lot because it's out of 47,000, but representative of the good work that you're doing. So you mentioned the state budget. There was a commitment around service improvements, 35 million, and 5 bus routes. Just wondering, I'm sure you've considered how you're going to make presentations or make clear how you're moving forward on these initiatives to the committee. So just curious about what you're thinking in terms of that transparency.
Sure. So maybe on service first. So as I mentioned, we'll be implementing those weekend service pieces come July. I think we'll have more to say to the committee in probably next month or in the next couple months, looking at where we're going to continue to add service. I think, the committee knows that, for example, the mantra of 6-minute service is a little more complicated than that, right, given the interlining that we have in our system. So we are looking at places where we can, continue to add some service that doesn't obviously have impact on other on our interlining, for example. And then the not so insignificant challenge of all the capital work and infrastructure work we have ongoing, right? So our GEO, I think, outlook over the next 9 months, I look at Judy, who uses, and her team is the Jenga puzzle, if you will, of how we put that together with subways and C&D is pretty extraordinary. So we'll take that into consideration as well, which I think is why we chose the GJ&M, because we didn't have a lot, frankly, of capital work, and we'll be able to deliver on that service as advertised. On buses, we have some work to do, obviously. I think there are a lot of implications. I mean, one challenge that I'm particularly concerned about is making sure that it is clear to our customers which routes are free and which are not. I worry that if we don't do this right, it could potentially encourage more, negative interactions with our bus operators, for example, who will be put in a position to explain what is free and what's not and why. And so we have to think through all that as well. So more to come. We obviously have a short time window to ultimately come and implement.
Lisa?
Just a quick congratulations to everyone. It makes me proud to sit here knowing this leadership is so outstanding. So congratulations. Excuse me. You mentioned there were 26 stations that had unarmed security guards. You know what my next question is going to be, right? Amen.
So I don't have the top of my head. Bobby, you may have those memorized, but I know that they are scattered throughout the
Correct.
the boroughs.
And we've actually put a little bit more focus on the Bronx with a couple of locations. So I remember the first time that we came here and we were short Bronx stations, and we are making forward motion with that. I appreciate it. You're welcome.
Great. Any other questions for Rich? Okay. If not, we move on to Q.
Good morning. MTA Accessibility joined the Department of Subways to celebrate Autism Awareness Month last month with some fun announcements featuring some of our biggest and brightest fans. And we also acknowledge our senior and older adults in the month of May by continuing to welcome hundreds and thousands of reduced fare customers onto Omni. Rich, you broke the number, but over 25,000 reduced fare customers have rolled over to Omni, and that is a big win for us. In March, the MTA received one of the first U.S. DOT SMART grants, a $2 million award to fund the expanded testing of Navalent's wayfinding app. I want to thank our entire delegation who helped secure this fund for the MTA, especially Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Senator Jill Gillibrand and the entire team behind this. We will continue to test how this technology works to guide our customers to their destinations and around buses and subways, including riders on multimodal trips, and how our blind and low vision riders move around their systems with these new enhancements, and especially our low English efficiency customers who can best leverage this wayfinding innovative solution. April was the first month that our 2 new whiteout gates were in service, increasing accessibility for all of our customers. And the numbers are looking good. We're seeing lots of people with mobility devices, luggage, strollers, and oversized objects using these gates. At Atlantic, between 2,000 and 2,500 customers weekly paying to enter through the WAGs. At Sup and Archer, between 9,000 and 10,000 weekly average paying customers through the WAGs, a huge enhancement versus the slam gates. Fare evasion is significantly reduced at both sites, with over 70% of customers coming through paying at these locations. Now, these are initial figures at these stations that have had visible staff, police presence, and we will continue to collect that data. Expansions for the plans include focusing on Suffolk Archer, where we see the most demand for enhancing these accessible fare controls areas, and our team is looking at several design options to improve customer flow and relieving the queuing that we're seeing happening there, with plans to make additional changes before the end of this year. Lastly, MTA Digital has been hard at work with our paratransit division and working to enhance the MyAAR web and app experience for our paratransit customers. Accessory customers who have access to a computer, tablet, or smartphone can quickly and easily book and manage their trips with MyAAR. After engaging with our customers, new features to help customers track their trips will soon be rolling out. So thank you to Chris and the digital team for continuing to enhance the paratransit experience.
Thank you, Q. Any questions for Q? Midori?
Hi, Q. Thank you. I'm not sure if you're the right person to ask or whoever's in charge of Omni, but you both said 25,000 discount riders are now on Omni. How many in total are we talking about, those that benefit from discount programs?
So for the reduced fare community, we've seen 25,000 rolled onto it. As you know, we have about 1.2 million customers who make up that population. So we have a lot of room to grow. But every customer is a win for us, and we're continuing to market to the community at large so that they know that this is available to them.
Yeah, thank you for the reminder. I thought it was 1 million, but now it's 1.2. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? If not, thank you, Q. We'll move on to the crime report with Deputy Chief Grandstadt.
Good morning,
morning.
Chair Mahaltzis, President Davey, and other members of the board. It's good to see everyone again. President Davey, it was very nice to see you at Comstat 2 weeks ago, like you mentioned. Comstat's specifically and solely devoted to crime within the Transit Bureau. Chief Kemper asked me to update the committee on his behalf today. You have before you the latest crime monthly stats through the month of April. So far this year, the subway system recorded an 8.1 reduction in crime. That was driven mainly by a 12.3% decrease in robberies and a 12.8% decrease in felony assaults. With the exception of 2021, the heart of the pandemic, this marks the third lowest year to the start of a year when it comes to subway crimes in recorded history. Last week, Police Commissioner Sewell testified at the City Council and spoke of the 4 million rider benchmark that was recently eclipsed. This reflects increased rider confidence in the safety of the subway system and is proof positive of the investment of deployed police personnel. So the downward trend in the crime numbers I mentioned, with the upward trend in MetroCard swipes and OmniTaps, is a result everyone in this room is working towards, with most of the credit going to people mainly outside of this room. And by that, I'm talking of our frontline transit workers and police personnel who patrol within the field. It's been a topic of recent discussion for fear of sounding like a broken record, and this issue and concern was brought up by many members of the public today. I'm compelled to speak about it again, and that is the dangers of subway surfing. Over the past several months, I've recounted several instances of police officers intervening and taking reckless teenagers into custody for fear of tragedy striking. On the home front, youth coordination officers within police precincts have identified and attempted to address this by reaching out to these children and their parents, doing home visits, and relaying our concerns and informing the parents of their children's problematic behavior. So hopefully that will pay dividends in the future. If just one impressionable teen gets some sense talked into them, then it's a win. Unfortunately, our officers are still seeing firsthand the consequences of such reckless behavior. On May 12th, officers responded to a medical call in Queens where a 14-year-old who was subway surfing slipped and hit his head. Thankfully, the teen escaped serious injury and was reunited with his father at the hospital. Several days later, on Wednesday, May 17th, a similar scene played out on Staten Island with a drastically different outcome. Shortly after 1 o'clock in the afternoon, emergency personnel responded to the Eltonville train station along the Staten Island Rapid Transit System to reports of an injured teen on the top of a train car. Officers from the 122 precinct found a gravely injured teen, and despite the efforts of EMS and hospital personnel, the 15-year-old train surfer cannot be saved. As a parent, I cannot fathom what that family is going through, and I urge parents to tackle this difficult subject with their children at home. On this somber and very sobering note, I'll end my remarks here and take any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions for Chief? Okay, if not, we move. Go ahead, Andrew.
Hi, Chief.
Good
Thank you.
morning. Thanks, sir.
In several stations, I've seen police officers from the Transit Police Unit, not the upstairs police, but the Transit Bureau, stationed in places that were not near secondary entrances, so they could not watch fare evasion and things of crazy things taking place near those turnstiles.
Yep.
Are they given instructions to be near turnstiles if there are some mid-platform, like a secondary entrance or anything, or are they just supposed to stand on the platforms as I have been watching them do?
So we deploy our transit members in various places, that being turnstiles, platforms, the mezzanine, and on trains themselves. That's based on where we see crime within the system. However, we do feel, and we have taken a strong stance on addressing fare evasion, and those numbers are up dramatically. We're up year to date
Absolutely.
over 65% in fare evasion, and that really the thought being whether a customer, we want their first impression of entering the transit system to be comforting, and they see a police officer, and as they leave as well. And we also want to impress upon those who would consider committing crimes that the police are here. So, we see tremendous value in posting officers at the turnstiles, and, therefore that strong stance for deployment.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorry, any other questions? Okay, thank you, Chief. We're now going to move over to Lou Montani so you can give us this month's transit procurements.
Yes, thank you. The New York City Transit Procurement Package includes one action item this month. This item is an award of a 4-year estimated value contract to Placer American Corporation for the upgrade of critical systems on 2 New York City Transit-owned track geometry cars, TGC-3 and TGC-4. Both were manufactured in 2006 and 2007 respectively and are scheduled for a comprehensive overhaul. This contract will allow for critical systems to be upgraded either because they are worn or better technology is available. Other parts are scheduled for overhaul in order to achieve another 15 years of operational life on each TGC. They're a critical safety item that use sophisticated inspection tools to identify potential failures in rails, movement of the rail on the track bed, obstructions in the operating envelope of the subway tunnels, and any other related situation that could potentially impact the safe operation of subway trains or the riding public. All equipment and related subsystems were manufactured by Placer or other subsystem suppliers and integrated by Placer. Pricing was negotiated on a line-by-line basis for each major task in the scope of work, including pricing for major subsystem replacement, Placer level of effort, and subcontracted services. Payment schedules, performance bonding, and establishing an aggressive but achievable overall project schedule with an incentive for early completion was also negotiated. Through these efforts, Placer submitted its best and final offer of $19.1 million, a savings of $3.3 million from its original proposal. The pricing from Placer has been found fair and reasonable. The work will be conducted sequentially at Placer's facility, with each TGC scheduled to be out of service for approximately 18 months, starting in mid-2024. I submit this procurement for board approval.
Thank you. Do we have any questions regarding this procurement? Randy?
When the TGCs are all up there, is there a replacement car that we're using, or we're going to put the old ones back in temporarily, or what?
We have redundancy with the existing cars, so while each one is out, it won't cause a lack of inspection or service.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Lou? If not, can I entertain a motion to accept this procurement? Motion, second? Second. All those in favor? Aye. Against? Motion carries. Thank you, Lou. No business, no further business. Do I hear a motion to adjourn the meeting? Randy, second? Okay, thank you.